said, I just keep it real. And, I'm going to say it the way that it is. But there's a difference between keeping it real and keeping it real rude. There's a lot of power that you have in your words. Let go. Hello, ladies. This morning I woke up low-key with a cold, and so I am drinking my tea. I'm trying my best not to have my lip hit the microphone because this whole recording on YouTube and podcast stuff is kind of a little bit confusing for me. Oh, I'm hoping that everybody has had a good week. For me, my week has been pretty eventful. Work has been busy. My brother just had a child, so I'm a new auntie. And so I'm seeing my nephew a lot more often. I'm kind of sick, so I probably need to sit my butt home, to be honest. I'm drinking my mint tea. I got this actually from Trader Joe's. It's the organic Moroccan mint tea, and it's absolutely amazing. I don't know if I can do some ASMR around here a little bit, but here it is. I've been watching Bad Girls Club, and there's been a lot of different shows that are coming back on, like That's So Raven's back on, on Hulu. I saw Proud Family's back on, and this is outside of Disney Plus because I'm kind of cheap, so I'm not going to pay for all those different streaming services. I ain't got time for none of that. I only pay for Netflix, and I use my mama's Hulu. Oh, and I pay for Stars for Power. And right now, the Tommy season is just really throwing me off. I thought Tommy's season was going to be A1, but I'm pretty disappointed with how it's going. And therefore, I'm just you know what? I miss old shows that I used to watch. I'm a 90s baby, and I miss the shows like Even Stevens and Kim Possible. Oh my gosh, the one with Hilary Duff, Lizzie McGuire. It's just, I feel like we have lost the power of film. And I know right now the writer's strike is kind of getting cleared up and stuff, but I feel like I don't see any good shows out there now, and I'm kind of missing it. So I was binging on the Bad Girls Club, and I was looking for old episodes of Flavor Flav. And if you are a 90s baby, then you know that during this time, we weren't even supposed to be watching that. I was in maybe elementary, maybe middle school, but I'm sure I was in elementary school. And I remember just being so obsessed with the Flavor Flav concept. One man dating all these beautiful women. These women are crazy. They're wild. They all have different personalities. And I just remember being so engulfed in that, you guys, because it was so different. It was so new. And reality TV, drama, all that stuff really kind of appealed to me when I was younger because I'm not living that life. So watching it just really gave me that rush. And back in the day, you could have your remote TV, you could have your remote go back and forth from channel to channel. So I would go from 64 to 51, 64 to 51. And if you're in Georgia, you know that 64 was Disney Channel and 51 was VH1. So I would go back and forth, back and forth. And I'd be watching this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love New York. I love me some, look, New York, while I'm happy that she's transformed into a better woman, unlike some of these girls who have reverted back, she was freaking wild, and I used to love it. I used to love watching New York go off on chicks, pop off, snatch a chick up with her and Pumpkin. Oh God. That goes down in reality TV history. And I got to witness that. Me. Okay. So I am very, very happy that I'm going back through it. It's reminding me of memories. And even with Bad Girls Club, in the beginning, the seasons were actually good. And then I feel later on, it just got really ratchet. And I could take ratchetry to a certain extent. But for me, when reality TV seemed real, when Basketball Wives came off real, and that's another thing I've been binging, Basketball Wives, season 1 and 2 on Netflix right now. It came off more authentic for me. So I thought the beefs were real and the storylines made more sense. And it wasn't just so scripted, I have really been having this kind of love-hate relationship with it. And I'll keep it real. Back then when I'm younger, I'm not thinking of issues of the world. And now that I'm a grown woman, a lot of issues of the world are starting to be brought to my attention. And with this whole, Black women needing to stick together movement, protecting Black women, um, girl power, that type of wave that we are experiencing, I really am having a love-hate relationship with those shows because I realized that to me was the beginning of the separation that they placed between us. I found it entertaining that Black women were fighting over a man, that Black women were fighting just in general over stupid stuff, bullying each other. And it was entertainment for me. But now that I'm an adult, I see that is actually damaging, and that's probably damaging the youth. And that explains why I dealt with girl drama growing up in high school and stuff. I mean, it was just kind of triggering for me. And it made me think of the power that we have in our words. It made me think of the power that we have in our actions and how we treat others, and how, even though we're adults, we all have moments where we literally mess up time and time again, and we are like repeating the same habits. Edified Minds Podcast is meant to constantly remind you that the traumas that you've had or the bad traits that you are trying to get rid of, they usually come back because this is like embedded in us. And there's a lot of power that you have in your words, especially when you are upset. When you're triggered, you should learn to vent instead of just snap. And I had to learn that. But watching those reality TV shows when I was younger, it kind of influenced me to snap and think that's the way to go about it. And it's a lot of scenes that I saw that I'm like, man, this could have been avoided by just like conversation, like just a one-on-one fucking talk. Excuse my language. I'm trying not to cuss, but it could have totally been just avoided by a conversation. And I'm sure that we all remember things that we've spoken to other people that have been damaging, that we don't even know how it's impacted them. And yet we act like it's nothing because, well, they pissed me off or they had it coming. And, I've got plenty of stories where I can tell you I've said some things that I did not mean. And I'm kind of having to eat my words till this day. And this is some tea. I recently have fallen out with a friend. Okay. I've fallen out with a friend, and this friend claims that I have offended his friends because of things that I've said. And one part of me is like, look, I'm real. If you upset me, if you annoy me, I will three strike you until you're out. And then that's when I will snap. But there's that other side of me that acknowledges, man, maybe I should have gone about it another way. There are power in my words, and I'm not sure how it impacts people. You know, I was on a trip with him and his friends, and they were extremely like just talking about each other behind each other's backs and messy. And he was just kind of like letting it fly in one ear out the other, blindsided, not trying to pay any mind. But I'm sitting here looking and going, these people are going to make me have a horrible trip because it's just so much drama and annoyance. And so there were moments where I snapped. And I'm guessing this impacted these people to the point where they didn't want to be around me on the trip. And at the time, I was totally fine with that, had no problem with that, probably shouldn't have gone on that trip anyway. And it's like, I'm sitting here reflecting how it probably wasn't the right thing for me to do, to pop on some of these people. And it's like I don't realize sometimes the power that I have in my words, and how a simple "you're really annoying me" can make somebody feel. It's not like I'm cussing these people out, but it's simply just sometimes correcting people. And that is actually needed. I don't want for anybody to feel like your voice has to be muted, because people are going to try to villainize you no matter what you do. They're going to try to make you feel like you're in the wrong if you upset them or if you say something that they don't like. And in that case, it's kind of like, yeah, eat that, because that's not my problem. That's a you problem. But there are other times where I'm sure we all know that some things that we have said to others and to ourselves is just not right. Aside from speaking to other people out of turn, my real focus this episode is really about like, how are we talking to ourselves? This morning, I completely just gave myself love and told myself, I love you. I love you. You look beautiful. Your makeup's amazing. Your wig's on point. You're going to look awesome tomorrow for your color night. My fucking color is yellow, and I'm so pissed off because I hate the color yellow. So I'm already knowing tomorrow is going to be probably a different day. But it's the power that we have in our words. If I hype myself up tomorrow, who knows? Maybe yellow will be my new color. I don't know. Probably not. But what I do know is that there are so many things we've said to our friends or our exes or family or to ourselves. And when we sit back and really process that, I would say that it has an effect on people's mental health. And we don't want to be part of the problem. We want to be part of the solution. Too many times we speaking ill to our own selves, like kind of critiquing the way we look and maybe the way that we sound and the things that we do. And I think that that is pretty detrimental to us because literally it's us talking crap to ourselves. Sometimes we can be our worst enemy. And that's what we don't want to be. We don't want to be our worst enemy because at that point, it's kind of counterproductive to even talk to ourselves. I've talked myself out of so many opportunities just based off of me being so negative. And I want to go over 3 powerful ways that you can enhance your words. There are some powerful ways that you can switch your words, switch your language, switch the way you talk to yourself. And it's extremely important that we cover those. So these are the top 3. Before I even get started on that, I want for you to subscribe, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe at Edified Minds Podcast on YouTube. And as well, make sure that you subscribe on all streaming platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, and iHeart Radio. So let's go ahead and get into these powerful points. So the first powerful way to enhance your words would be to, one, if you don't have anything nice to say, like, don't say it at all. There have been a lot of people I've run into in my life that have said, I just keep it real. And, I'm going to say it the way that it is. But there's a difference between keeping it real and keeping it real rude. And that's when, people get cussed out and whatnot. Like I try my best not to revert back. But, some people, they got to get told, hey, you don't know who you're talking to. So you might want a zippy long stocking. Okay. And there are different ways to approach things when you're upset and when you don't agree. We are in a very offended culture right now where everything that people talk about, it offends people. You go on Shade Room, all it is offense, which is why I have unfollowed that platform. I really encourage Black women to not follow that platform. It is meant to keep us in cycles of baby mama culture, drama, celebrity idolization. And I'm going to talk about that in a whole nother episode. But what I will say is that there was a time I clapped back at somebody in a comment section and they tore me up. Like 300 people were responding. I just eventually just deleted my comment because I was like, well, I don't really want to see this. This is hurting my feelings at this point. And I'll be real, my comment was rude. Like what I said, it was meant to hurt somebody. It was meant to offend. And I think a lot of people kind of called me out on that, which is why I've honestly just stayed out of the comment sections in general on Instagram and on TikTok. I even filter my comments. So if you think you're going to come on my page talking crap, you can't because I have to approve it. That's the funny part about it. And I would say in so many different situations, I have reverted to saying mean things to hurt somebody or get a reaction. And all it's done is just really got blown back up in my face. So a way to really enhance your words is to honestly be graceful. Be graceful, be kind, and really think before you speak. Ladies, there's a difference between getting respect and having people fear you. Back in middle school, there was a girl, and I won't say her name because she's crazy. And, I'm still in Georgia, so it's like, it's fair game at this point. She thought that people respected her, but really they feared her because she would fight you, she would jump you, she'd talk about you. And that's what I never wanted. I think I had it confused when it came to what made a girl popular, what made a girl likable. I take it right back to that reality TV show mentality. I thought that being pretty, I thought that having the nice bags and having the weave done and all that stuff made you likable. But the truth is, if you have an evil heart, a mean inside, I'm sure people would want to spend time with others before you. And it is important that even if you're beautiful on the outside, you don't just walk in that, but you walk in being beautiful inside as well. And that really has a lot to do with our words. A lot of us are only thinking from our lens. We're only thinking from our reality, our point of view. But having a third person point of view is extremely important, you guys. A lot of us are only thinking from our point of view, our story, and we have to understand that other people are cast in our story. And that has helped me take less offense to when people come in and out of my life. That's helped me take less offense when some people have to cut me off, because honestly, everybody is living their own story. And so it's very important that I think of it from a third person point of view. Like if I'm watching a movie, right, I'm able to see both sides, two points of view, and then I make my decision, judgment, opinion. And if you were witnessing a conversation, or if you were witnessing the things that you said to others and how you reacted, what would you say? It's very hard to think this way, but see, this is enlightened thinking. This is edified thinking, where you are not thinking from a selfish point of view and you're not focused on me, me, me. The culture that we're in right now is very much me, me, me. You're thinking from facts. You're taking feelings out of the situation, but you're really looking at it for what it is. And that's really going to be like some practice is going to be needed for that. People can't master that all the time, because it just takes a different level of maturity. And I've had to literally practice doing that. It's not easy at all. But when you think about things from a third person point of view, it really does allow you, I believe, to operate in a better understanding and to solve problems better by knowing that the words that you spoke wasn't making the situation worse, but it was actually helping the situation, grow and have better resolutions for the problem. And the third thing I would say is speak wisdom and enlightenment into people. Our goal in life is to impact people positively, have positive words of encouragement for others, and to really build people. Just yesterday, I reached out to two girlfriends because we went out for one of my friends' birthdays. Shout out to you, Bex. I love you. And I reached out to two of them and just gave them words of encouragement. These women are beautiful. These women are awesome. And I believe that they needed to hear that. And I'm sure they already know it. But sometimes it's just our job as people, not even just women, but people, to encourage others, because you don't know how that's going to impact their day. You don't know if someone's going to have a bad day, if someone is dealing with things they're not telling you about. And so being that voice of reason, being that voice of edification, that is very important, I believe, to enhance your words. Too many of us are just speaking trash, and a lot of us just talk to hear ourselves. And I was like that at one point, where I was always just talking just to be heard, and I really wasn't saying nothing. I wasn't saying much of anything. And I think that that's why people really didn't listen to me. I'm sure I expressed this in my first podcast season. It's like I made this podcast because I felt like people didn't listen to me. It was kind of self-centered at first, I'll be real. And now I'm realizing that the more positive I speak, the more knowledgeable that I become, people are finally starting to listen to me like, okay, now I see what you're saying, Kennedy, or okay, I'm actually open to listening to your point of view. So these three ways, keeping it cute, not talking trash to people, not always reverting to what other people are doing, killing that rude nature with kindness, having a third person point of view, looking from things from the inside out, not always trying to lead with what you feel and your understanding and being selfish in your approach. And then also, speaking wisdom and enlightening others. That is extremely important. And so I would say, in order to have a less dramatic lifestyle, because I'm tired of the drama, I'm over it, I really am having to understand the power in my words. Looking back at Flavor of Love, Bad Girls Club, all those shows, it was very clear that those women were not operating in this manner, and that they were saying things for views and really just for attention. Ladies, I love to have these conversations, and I'm hoping that if you're going through a week where you have really not found the right words to say, that this episode is meaningful to you. It's very important working on your words. And we've all been impacted by the words that someone has said to us. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and really think before you say. There are even moments where you can honestly be like, you know what, I don't have anything to say right now. Process it and then speak. I think that's better than just allowing your emotions at the time to allow you to just speak out of turn and really say things that ultimately you're going to regret or things that you don't mean. So, ladies, hoping that you guys have a good week. I will see you guys next week. And next week's topic is going to be about influence. I'm going to probably have an influencer on here. We're probably going to be able to chat it up. And so I'm excited, still working on contracts and stuff. You guys, I have been working pretty hard for season 2 because I want every season to have something better. This season is video with some guests. Next season, maybe we'll have more men on. It just depends on how I'm feeling, to be honest. But hoping that this week is awesome. I would talk some more, but I literally am having to go right now to a facial appointment. I am kind of late, so I'm going to go ahead and get that self-care routine in. I will talk to you guys next week and see you ladies soon.